Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your November forecast. So last month it was a big blooper with the audio really didn't come forward. I had new software going, so that really didn't work out, did it? We're going to do a better job of that here now this month. Now, with everything going on, we still do have COVID. Not much we can do about that other than to stay safe, stay healthy, and still do our distancing. But in this time period, what can we do to really enhance our life and bring productivity into it? Now, see, when we talk about productivity, let's talk about Mars to start with, okay? Because Mars now, going direct on November 14th, that will help you pick up speed from mid-month onwards. But we always want to get out of the shadow, right, for a little bit. So we want to give it maybe a week or two. So by the end of November, you will start seeing all that energy picking up, moving forward. And for you, you will notice this, Taurus, in your 12th house. Now, the 12th house has to do with our subconsciousness. It has to do with our creativity. Remember, it's the house of Pisces, right? So you might have been dreaming up a storm, right? Which is a great thing because once that Mars hits your ascendant, moves into that first house, watch things take off. And trust me on this, right? So if you've been feeling it's been a little slow for you, so be it. It's for a reason. The universe never makes any mistakes, does it? So in that sense, now that it's still retrograde, as we start off the month, how can we use this to our benefit? Well, for you, it's listening to your dreams. For you, it's also listening to your intuition. This is a very intuitive area of your chart. And a lot of you are very practical, very physical, very much so within the 3D realm of just believing in the five senses. I'm holding up both. In the five senses, right? But there's more to us than this. Now, Mars moves normally through a sign every 6 weeks. Now, Mars is being stuck here for 6 months. That is allowing you, Tauruses, to really get a good grip on learning to trust intuition, to look for signs, to pay attention to your dreams, to look at other expressions of creativity. Look over here in the 12th house. I'm moving my mouse over it here right now. It's in the sign of Aries, which is really a go-getter type energy. Mars is antsy. Mars wants to do, right? So when it's retrograde, it's kind of slowed down that to-do energy, and it might have been very frustrating, aggravating, and whatnot, pent-up energy. And of course, with all the lockdown that we have pent-up energy as is, right? Look up here to your 9th house. This is where I feel there's a lot of things that are going to be releasing now for you, because why? The 9th house is international liaisons, right? It could be companies or traveling or expansion, or it's also our higher thoughts, the way that we use to move through our philosophical state of mind. It's reaching for that higher realm. So the universe has really been slow here in 2020 because all of those planets up there in the 9th, they were retrograde as well. Now they're moving forward. That's great news, right? So it's given you ample time to think, feel, and transform this area of your life. The 9th house is also the area of legal situations. So for those of you Tauruses that might have been going through some legal actions, that might have been slow, it might have been harsh. Saturn is all about, the people in the know. Okay, so that could be the courts, but it's also you and your mastery of sticking to what you know you need to do. Saturn teaches us how to master. You're learning how to master this area of your chart. And Pluto is trying to transform it. Pluto can be quite tough in difficult angles. I mean, really, really tough. But the upside of that Pluto, when it works and it comes together for you, it's magical. It's really going to bring a sense of transformation into your life that you couldn't even possibly conceive nor dream of, some time back at all. Now, Jupiter is generous. Jupiter is money, big money, and Pluto is big money. So for some of you, that might be the case. Jupiter wants to expand this for you. So I feel whatever has been tough, I want you to trust it here on the last few legs until Jupiter now moves into your 10th house of career, which is not going to be this month. We still got to get here now through 2020. But I'm feeling that you're going to start seeing that you can wrap up certain things in your life that is going to bring a lot of pleasure. So let's look at relationships this month here for you, Taurus. And you know what? The sun is moving through the sign of Scorpio in your 7th house for relationships. This is going to really empower the quality of your relationships, where it can be deeper, more passionate, intimate, and those things, or at least you're going to be feeling the need for it in an increased way. But it's also how you're going to be giving out energy towards your partner, which is again going to give you back what it is you give out. So make sure now that you're doing it in the way that you want to see it returned to you. Loving, affectionate, and understanding. And not only that, but we have the new moon here in this area, 23 degrees in Scorpio. This is taking place, as you see, November 15th. So make sure you mark that on your calendar, because not only are you going to be attracting what the new moon is being put out as an intention. We always place intentions on new moons, right? And this time it's going to be all about relationship. And not only will it bring it into fruition within this month, right? But when we look at the power of manifestation, do know that these new moons will work for you an entire year until the moon comes back here to your 7th house. It's going to travel your chart for 12 months. And when it does come back, well, then you have a new cycle. So you want to ask yourself, how do you want your life to look like the next 12 months? If it's been like this, well, now is the time to improve it. It's the best time of the full entire year to place those intentions. Make sure that your heart is in the right place, and in both the giving and the receiving. It's all in that heart chakra. Now, the full moon is when we harvest things, right? So let's take a look at that. November 30th, 8 degrees over here in Gemini. Now, your 2nd house is all about money and income. You might have been working really hard, Taurus, in order to achieve a certain thing that can bring you some more money, some harvest. So pay attention to around the end of this month to see exactly how good your intentions have been working for you, right? And when we really get up and running and understanding the power of the moons and the power of manifestation, you'll start seeing how you could start mastering the power to come into your life and become a reality. So it's magic. We have also Mercury Retrograde. This is going to be until November 11th. No, I'm sorry, November 4th. So Mercury being retrograde there in October, it has been maybe a few mishaps, misunderstandings, miscommunications, and so forth. We know how things can go a little haywire, right? So if you're watching this on the October side of this reading, just be careful that you're not really signing too many documents or entering into any kind of negotiations with set outcomes, right? Because under retrograde, things warp, things change, right? So, but it's good to explore. It's good to research all those things that are important. You can do that, and you can do that easily. Now, your Mercury retrograde is showing up here in the 6th house, and that is all about your health. So you might have had or want to do some checkups, look into how you could benefit your health one way or another, either with supplements, getting back into the gym, and so forth. I would not recommend having any procedures done in this area until Mercury is out of here, because it is your health. And, you know, things we don't want it to go wrong. If you're having any plastic surgeries, you don't want to end up with duck lips and so forth, right? We all have seen how those results could be. Mercury here also in the sign of Libra, it's about communication, because Mercury is communication. When it's traveling through the sign of Libra, it's all about love, it's about balance, it's about what's fair, not fair, right? And it really pertains to your day-to-day routine, your work. Not work as in career, because that is up here in your 10th house, right? You don't have anything going on there right now. But your day-to-day work, how are you interacting with your coworkers? How are you communicating? How are they communicating? Give a little room for, like I said, misunderstandings and so forth, and try to be quick as to apologize if need be, if it's on your end, or also see if you can seek that from whoever is on the other end of that miscommunication. Just so things are balanced and fair and whatnot, especially now also because, look at this, you got Venus here in Libra as well in the same area, and Venus rules Libra. This means that this month is going to be extra emotional, could be more loving. Again, it's beauty, it's money, it's balance in those things that you hold as worth. And it's going to show up in your day-to-day life, right? Because this is the 6th house, how you schedule things in your life so that you can have a little bit more time off, maybe to do fun things, maybe bring your partner out to do things. I feel that that balance can really bring a lot of joy to both, especially because you have that that sun and new moon in the 7th house, right? So kind of like take your mindset a little bit away from work this month. Trust it, that it's on autopilot, that it's doing its things, it's doing what it needs to do for you. But right now, this is where the energy is at work, so that you can power up and be happy for the entire coming year if you get things done right this month. We have Jupiter. Let's move on to Jupiter. Jupiter in your 9th house has to do with expansion. It has to do with doing research, international communications, or business. It also has to do with your philosophical, your higher mind at work, wanting to bring in the understanding of why certain things are happening the way they are. I think this is such a powerful time. This whole entire year with this whole placement up in the 9th house has been especially empowering for you, Taurus, because your life has changed a lot with Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter here. It has expanded in ways that you might not have foreseen earlier, and it's giving you more power and, should I say, also responsibility. Saturn is all about responsibility. So whatever has come into your life in 2020 has meant to be. I can see how these adjustments have been super important for you. Not always easy, but Jupiter is bringing these gifts from above that only you can really come to appreciate for years to come. It's a new 12-year cycle while Jupiter is here, right? So you can see that this year in the long run will really have changed a lot, turned a new page in your own book of life. Love, love, love that. And we've talked about this earlier on in the reading. So let's move on to Neptune. This is the area of hopes and dreams and your visions. Also, I'd say where you could find your tribe. What tribe is around you these days? Well, Neptunian people who hold different values, not just the material. And of course, we know that Taurus people can be very material in their ways, but your higher self, your consciousness is reaching for that there's got to be more than just the hands-on physical real. So Neptune, and thank goodness that it moves so slowly, because nothing happens overnight with Neptune, but there's a slow growing consciousness in your higher mind that's bringing new concepts into your reality, that there is more to life than just those 5 senses, right? So pay attention to your dreams. Neptune rules dreams. You could come to receive a lot of information that way if you are paying attention, right? For those of you who do yoga and meditation and so forth, I feel you can get even more from this. Why? Well, because you're already in that Zen zone where the higher mind is really wanting to connect to these realms. It's also, you know, a group of people I feel that could behoove you. Are artists, musicians, people who express themselves from soul level, not just from the consumer level, but from the soul level. I feel that is where your growth can really take on a beautiful shape and form where you become more of who you are, and especially because we have this 9th house placement up here with all these planets that are trying to open you to these higher concepts of reality. So putting that together with Neptune, you're branching out like a tree, little seed branching out and getting to deeper realms. That is awesome. Really, really awesome. So then we also do have Uranus in your 1st house. Let's take a look at that. And I see I wrote a little mistake there, but it is retrograde. But it will start going direct November 29th. Uranus has been retrograde for several months. We've had a lot of planets retrograde, which has been slowing things down for us, right? And as frustrating as that can be, but retrogrades are also a gift in that sense that it slows us down just enough to be able to start looking within, looking to the past, choices that we made, things we want to renew or tweak and bring into a new realm. For you, this has been, I think, such an exhilarating and exciting path these last 2 to 3 years while Uranus has been here. You know, Taurus, that you really like everything that's really set and secure, right? But however, Uranus always brings change. It could be changes that we ask for, that we want. It could be changes that we didn't ask for, that just came upon us. It just brings this kind of unexpected type energy that can really rock the boat at times, but it ends up liberating us, freeing us. Who would have known years ago that you would be exactly where you are today? I don't think a lot of you would have even foreseen that, but you have liberated, and there's going to be a whole lot more liberation coming in due to Uranus here, and it's going to be here for several more years, so you might as well get used to it. And what is the key word for Uranus? When whatever we resist persists. So when you're up against that wall of, ooh, I don't want change, I want to hold the old ways, every time you hang on to that old, Uranus is just going to give another bump of an oh my God experience. Right? So the key word, the magical key word becomes let go, let God. Let changes come. When they come, try to recognize it's the universe's way to kind of kick you off the old spot so you can get into that new realm of creativity and freeing yourself and getting into this liberated state of consciousness, of becoming more of who you are. And you'll start seeing that you're going to be attracting more and more people into your life that both is Uranian, that's people thinking outside of the box, who are very original, and Neptunian, because that's up there in your 11th house. For friends, you're going to be attracting more friends that think in spiritual and creative ways. So what used to work for you years or decades before may not anymore. You're in the wind of change, Taurus. Welcome it, embrace it. And of course, I'll be touching upon this in coming months and actually in coming years, because those two planets, your 11th and 1st house, they're going to be staying with you for many years. So I'm not going to use all that much energy every month on it, but I wanted to tell you that right now because there's so much else taking place in your chart up here in the 9th house. All of these are working together with how you are changing on a personal level, which is down here in your 1st house. Okay, when you combine those, remember, it's all about connecting the dots and knowing that everything is connected. You may be able to take a leap, a quantum leap, not just of faith, but of attracting new people, circumstances, opening up for dimensions in your own consciousness you never thought was possible, and that will set you onto a totally new path. So I wish you the very best. But remember, this month particularly, and don't forget November 15th, to put your intentions out to the universe that you want a very loving, compassionate, giving and receiving type of relationship, not just for November, but for this entire next 12 months coming up. That is my gift for you. I'll see you next month. Bye now.